To make our book, we need the front and the back cover that I pre-cut for you, and we also need a small scrap. We're going to take our book cover that we printed and we're going to fold it in half, and we're going to cut it in half. So we have one for the front and one for the back. So I would just fold it, and then you can open it up and just cut it in half. Alright, so we're going to put this face down, and we're going to glue our piece of mat board onto our piece of cover. And to do this, I want to completely coat this piece of mat board with my glue stick. And so I have a glue magazine. It's just an old magazine that I was going to recycle. And this is so that I don't make a mess and get glue all over my desk, because I want to be sure that I completely cover my mat board with glue. So notice I start in the middle and I work my way out to the edges. So kind of make sure that the whole piece of cardboard is coated with a layer of glue. And then you're going to take this and you're going to put the sticky side down in the middle of your cover. So there's my front cover. Now I'm going to take my little scrap and a pencil, and I'm going to hold this vertically, and I'm going to put a line. And I put this right next to the corner. And if you can see, there's a small space right here. That small space is very important. So I put this at an angle, at about a 45-degree angle to the corner, and then I draw a line on the outside. I do that all the way around. And that small gap is important. Otherwise, you'll end up like with a gap on your cover, which doesn't look very nice. So hold this straight up and down and then draw a line. So when you're done, it will look like this, and there's this width is exactly the width of your mat board. So now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut along those lines that I drew, and I'm going to cut right on the line. Don't cut inside the line. You want to be accurate when you do bookbinding. So I'm going to carefully follow my line. And I don't need this much. I can trim a little bit off. So I cut. Take your time. Bookmaking is really fun, but you do want to be accurate. You want to have good craftsmanship. So what I have here is my cut corners, and now I'm going to fold my corners, and if I did a good job, they will come exactly together. There won't be a gap. So I fold all the edges in like this, and then I glue that down. So again, I want to glue right to the edge, so I'm going to flip. Remember, I used this, there's glue all over. I don't want it to stick to anything, so I'm going to get a fresh page. I'm going to take my glue stick and I'm going to go right to the very edge of my paper. That's why I need my glue magazine, so I go right to the edge and I don't get glue all over the table. I get it on my glue magazine. So I glue down the edges. Then I fold these and press. And if I was careful, it looks like this. Now I'm going to do exactly the same thing. So there's my front cover. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Go ahead and do it along with me. So I'm going to take my cover and I'm going to put glue over the entire surface of my mat board cover piece. Be sure you get to the edges. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to center it over my cover paper that I printed. And I'm going to press down. Then I'm going to take my corner piece, put it straight up and down, and trace the outside. The outside. The outside. And cut it with my scissors. Again, remember to cut it on the outside of the line so that you don't have a gap. So take your time and do a good job cutting. And you can be doing this right along with me. So you can be gluing and cutting while you're watching the video. So bookmaking, I've been doing it for many, many years. It's easy and it's fun. But you can make mistakes. So you do want to, take time, like when you're cutting, so you cut nice straight lines. Now I want to get a nice fresh coating of my glue magazine so I don't stick. And again, I really coat every little part of my cover. Don't miss any spots. And then I'm going to fold those edges down so that and see how neat my corners look? This part is going to get paper glued over it, so that is not going to show, so don't worry about that at all. Alright, so now I have my front and my back cover ready to go. So I'm going to set them aside. And now I'm going to take my long sheet of paper that's kind of tan colored. And I'm going to get my ruler. And I'm going to measure from the edge of my paper 3.5 inches. So I'm going to get out my ruler. And I can do 9 millimeters. So here's 9 millimeters and make a little tick mark. And then you have to make 2 marks so that it's nice and straight. Or I could also, if you prefer using inches, you can also measure 3.5 inches. It's very close. 3.5 inches is right here. It's very close to 9 millimeters. So I'm going to now I'm going to mark a light line. I just want to make sure I fold it nice and straight. So I'll just lightly, oh no, I'm sorry. I haven't done this for a year. I don't need to mark it, I need to score it. So I take my bone folder, and if you don't have a bone folder, you can use the back edge of a large paper clip. So, and I take my bone folder and I press, and I make like a dent in the paper. I don't know if you can see that dent, but, and now I should be able to easily fold that piece of paper. And I'm going to make sure that I got it nice and straight. And there's fold number 1. I tried to line up my edges really well. So now I'm going to take my ruler and my bone folder, and I shouldn't have to measure this time. I should just be able to use the edge of my piece of paper. And so I make another mark, and I fold it the opposite way that I just folded it. So what I'm doing is I'm making an accordion book. So I fold it the opposite way. And now I should be able to just use my bone folder. I don't have to use my ruler anymore. So press with my bone folder and then fold it. So you're going to end up with an accordion. So I just keep flipping it over and using my bone folder. And this way. I'm going to try to straighten it because it got a little bit crooked. You want to try to have, you know, good craftsmanship, but it is a handmade book, so it's not going to be perfect, but you want it to be fairly straight. So I noticed that that one, that looks better. So I keep scoring it, and the scoring really helps it to fold better. Flip it, score, flip, score. Oh, it got a little crooked. I'm going to see if I can straighten it out. And see, now we have a little bit of an extra bit down here. You don't need this little extra bit, so what you're going to do is you're going to fold it under, and you're going to press really hard. You could even, this little part you don't need. So I'm going to press really hard with my bone folder. I'm going to fold it the other direction. And then I'm going to just carefully tear that off. All right, now my book is almost done. See how easy it is to make a book? So this is going to be the front, and this is going to be the back of my book. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this here. And again, I need my glue magazine. I'm going to get a fresh page. I'm going to glue this to this, like so. So I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to get glue all over this area. I don't want to get glue here, so I'm going to cover it with my scrap just to give me like a little safety cushion in case I miss. Or I could tear another page out of my magazine. And so I'm going to cover this whole section with glue. Go right to the edges. And it's easy to, best to start in the middle and kind of work your way out. Okay, so there's my first, oh, I missed a spot. I can see it right there. I missed a little bit. Make sure it goes right to the edges. Then I take this and I glue this. Again, I don't want this to go here because there's wet glue there. Turn the page, get a fresh page, and then I'm going to center this. So you have to kind of just look carefully and just try to get it in the middle and get it straight. You don't want it to be crooked. Okay, and then you're going to smooth it down. And then you're going to do the exact same thing on the back. So you're going to glue, you're going to take your back cover, right, and you're going to glue it to there. So there's no glue on this page, so I'm going to flip this over. Again, I'm going to use a slip sheet just so I don't accidentally get glue here. I don't want glue here. I only want glue here. And I'm going to put a nice, even coat, but I'm pressing pretty hard. Like, you want to use enough glue so your book doesn't fall apart, right? So, you know, press fairly hard. Get a nice, pretty thick layer. I mean, not globby thick, but you want to be sure that you have enough so it sticks down there. Okay, that looks good. Everything's covered. So now I take this, I turn to a fresh page because there's glue all over that page. And I take this and I flip it. And I try to, you know, center it the best I can, right? So side to side, top to bottom. Do my best to get it in the middle. Okay, and then press. So now I'm pretty much finished with my book. I'm going to sign my name in the corner, and you're going to hand this to me, and I'm going to dry them overnight under some heavy weights so that they dry nice and flat. So I'll bring it to my classroom. I have these weights, and I'll put your book underneath, and you will have a beautiful handmade book. Look at that, a beautiful accordion book. All right, thank you.